Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Crafty Hour number 20. We're going to get started in just a moment. I'm just getting everything loaded up here, getting you folks all on. Some of you were just on for the live with Mari for the Clipper Club. So I'm just going to give you guys a minute and then we are going to get started. Good morning, good morning. We are going to make 3 cards together. Now, your kit will have enough to make 12. I'm going to make 3 with you. Courtney is going to make 3 with you. And that leaves 6 for you guys to create. And then we want to see your projects. So we want you guys to upload those. There's going to be tons of fun things in there. And we want to see what you're going to create. Good morning, good morning. Now, at the end of this little crafty hour, I've got a couple of announcements, so please hang tight. I want to be able to show you a couple of things that are coming up, and then just remind you that we are going to be going live tomorrow with the new Crafty Hour. That is going to be, I think, Crafty Hour. I think it's 22. I think that's the one that we're going to be doing. Now, for all of you, you're all invited to the Clipper Street page, the Facebook page, today at 2 p.m. Pacific. And that will be taped. So if you can't make it for that time, that is totally fine. But 2 p.m. Pacific, which is 4 o'clock Courtney's time, 4 o'clock in Central Time, 2 o'clock Pacific. Courtney is taking over the Clipper Street Facebook page. She is going to do a quick little video introducing and explaining the uses of the creative layers. So those are essential. That's why essential is in the name. So please either watch live so you can ask some questions, or feel free to pop on and watch it later. We are going to be taking orders at that time. Why are you nervous, Courtney? Good gracious. Never. Don't be nervous. Okay. Now, Carolyn, I see you're saying that you wish you had this kit. I am going to show you something at the end, and you guys here for Crafty Hour are getting the first look at it. So don't go away. I do want you to hang out, and I'm going to show you something new and exciting. I think it's exciting. At the end of this Crafty Hour. So, good morning, everybody. Thank you for tuning in this lovely Thursday morning. I'm going to get started, let's see, in just a minute. I'm just checking my time here. Yep, I think we'll get started in just a minute. So, once again, for those just tuning in, do we have toilet on order again if we already ordered? Do we have to? Oh, do we have to order? No, if you are okay with the price, you don't have to order. Courtney's going to talk a little bit about the pricing, etc. A lot of people ordered not knowing the price, so we just want to make sure everybody is clear. And we'll go over all of that at 2 o'clock. Don't even worry, Sharon. You should see my typing lately. Lately, my computer wants to double up everything. That's my computer at work, so I think the keyboard needs to be charged because everything is coming with double in there. I don't know why. Okay. A little swig of my coffee. Now, as I mentioned during the quick little video I did on the Crafty Hour, these 3D toppers can be completed on the base like I did on this one. Okay, so these are all 3D. If you haven't done your 3D, it's not a worry because you can just put these down and then add the 3D. It's okay. But sometimes I like to create them not on a 3D. So kind of like this, where it's just the element. And I'm going to explain that in our first card. And again, if you have not done your homework for doing your 3D toppers, that is okay. I actually was putting mine together last night. Crazy, I know. But it's okay. There's a lot of them. I find it's just kind of a fun thing to do in front of the TV. It actually stops me from snacking. So good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad you love these cards. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sarah Ann. I'm going to get started. I think it is time and we've got a lot of work to do. So I'm going to put these off to the side. I did mention to you what you are going to need. Now, important obviously is the card bases. You can use this as a card base. And if you've been in my in my classes with the 3D, don't worry about it. You guys know that you can use this as card bases. I am not going to use these as a card base today. So I asked you to bring 3 card bases, a 5x5, a 5x5, and a 5.5 by 5.5. I am going to be using gold foil. I said a 5x5 piece. It can be plain or stitched. I didn't stitch mine, silly Billy. I used the stitching die on it. So I love these dies. I just used them in my last class. Little secret, I am going to be using them in our Christmas card class. These are phenomenal dies. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 dies. These are the Pink and Main stitched square. So that's the one I used. You can use any. You can use a scallop, whichever, but I just wanted to let you know that is the one that I used on this card. And then optional for matting are these 2 down here, just a couple of the 5x10. We're going to trim those up better as we go. So I'm going to get started. Just a reminder that this is all available on replay. Tracy, best to call, please. This is all available on replay. So if you feel that you can't keep up or you just want to, sit back and have a cup of coffee, etc., absolutely. There is no panic, no rush. I am just going to craft along 3 cards and not a problem. So, okay. First one I'm going to start with is the largest card base I had you pull. That is the card base that is 5.5 by 5.5. That is the one that I'm going to use first. So I'm just going to give it a score because I have not scored mine yet. Maybe you have. This is the largest one. And I'm going to set this aside because we're going to start. Your screen keeps jumping. It did that yesterday, Gloria, with us. Go out and come back in. Facebook's having a little bit of a blip here. Facebook. Okay, so we're going to start with this paper. This is the cute little teddy bear paper. This is the first one that we're going to do. And I am going to cut this 5.5. But I'm going to cut it a special way. I'm going to turn it upside down. So the little teddy bear, he's standing on his head, upside down. I want the plain side first. So I'm going to take it right to 5.5, and I'm going to cut. And I'm going to use this little guy in a moment, but for now, I'm just going to put him off to the side. So turning it right side up now, this piece measures 5.5. Now I'm going to use the grass. So I'm going to turn it sideways, and I'm making a square, so it's going to be the same measurement, 5.5. I'm cutting off the top. That'll be great for another project. So we'll just put that away. So I now have a square that's 5.5 by 5.5. And that is the same size as my card front. Okay. Now your card is going to be a square. It is totally up to you which way you want it to open. I'm going to have it with my fold at the top. You can have it with your fold at the side. Whichever way you choose, you want your grass on the bottom. Okay. I know that makes sense. But sometimes we forget when we start gluing. I have done it many, many times. So we're going to glue this big piece to our card front. It is not going to have a mat on this one. And I'm just going to attach it, grass on the bottom. That is perfect. Okay. So there we have our card front. Now we're going to go back and we are going to cut another piece of our cute little bear. Now he's going to fit inside the gold. Now, if you just did a plain 5x5, okay, this is very important. If yours is plain, you're going to cut it to 4 7/8. If yours is like mine, or perhaps you used a different one, what I want you to do is just take a quick measurement in between those stitched. Okay, so for me, mine is going to be 4 3/4. That is what is going to fit so that I can see that stitching all the way around. If you chose to use a scallop piece, just take a quick little measurement. And remember that measurement because that's going to be the first measurement we're going to cut. So mine is going to be 4 3/4. This is an either or. Okay, doesn't matter which one. It's what works for your piece of paper. So if you just cut a 5x5 square, your first cut will be 4 7/8. Mine has stitching, so I need to allow a little bit more room for that. So I am going to take the bottom. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I think, let me just double check. I'm going to take a little bit off the bottom of the grass first. Just a little bit. Well, let me just check. No, maybe I didn't. Yep, I did. I just took a smidge. I personally took that much off. So I didn't take it right to the rose, but I just took a little bit off. Sometimes I do that to give me a little bit more room at the top. And for this one, I needed to. If yours is a square, you might be fine. So I'm taking it to 4 3/4. Now, when I do that, I'm going to cut just the tip of that purple flower off, and that's okay. If yours is 4 7/8, you're going to be right above that one. So I'm going to take mine to 4 3/4 and chop. Again, just measure whatever yours is that's going to fit inside. And I want to see that stitching, so that's why I'm cutting it. And this is a square, so again, same measurement. It's your either or your or, whichever one you are doing. Mine is 4 3/4. Now, I have a piece of paper that has the image on it, and I am going to just go ahead and glue that right onto my gold square. Whichever you have, stitched or plain, scallop, zigzag, whichever you want. Okay, and I am going to just glue that on. Let me just fix that. There we go. Perfect. Now, I am also going to bring in, oopsie, my base sheet. This is my base sheet. These are called base sheets because most of the time it has your base piece on it, but I'm not attaching it this time, so I'm going to leave that there. And I am going to go and take one of the borders. Now, there's 2 borders, so it is your choice. If you know that this is going to be a birthday card, then you might want the top one, which says happy birthday. If you're not sure, you can use the floral one underneath. These are die cut. You just got to snip the end because they are attached on the end. And you're going to do an either or again because this piece is going to go across the very top, right like that. And so you're going to cut it to the same measurement. Mine's going to be 4 3/4. That is just going to fit. So cut it to the same measurement, whichever you are doing. I'm going to straighten that up just a little bit. And feel free to use the one that is underneath it as well. The floral one is totally fine. And this is going to glue across the top. Now, I am going to glue this flat, and you will see why in a moment. So I'm just going to put glue on it. I didn't bring my, silly me, I didn't bring my Barely Art glue that has the little tip. So I'm going to be very careful. I don't want to open it too much because then it's all going to pour out on me. Okay. And I'm just coming down a little bit from the top. Just a little bit. And that's good. Just like that. A little crooked. Let's straighten that out. Now my next thing is I'm going to glue it right to the middle of the card, and I am not going to add foam tape because these already have a lot of layers. I just chose to attach my square flat, so I'm not going to do it on there. One sec, I'm just going to make sure. Looks like, there we go. Just going to do it flat, okay? So right in the center, flat. Facebook's a little grumpy today, isn't it? Jeez Louise. Jeez Louise. Just going to go out on mine and then scoot back in. Make sure I'm okay. Is everybody okay, or are you guys frozen? Because it seems to be a little grumpy for me, so I might need to come back. Maybe just let me know if you guys are okay. Facebook's, yeah. Anne-Marie, it's happening to me too. So I think it's a Facebook thing. It's okay on my phone, but it's definitely acting up on here. Not sure why. It seems to be, what do you call? It's kind of trying to reconnect. Okay, let's see if it keeps beeping out on me too. I know. I see a little bit. Mine's cutting out too. Hopefully we're fixed. I am watching it. I'm watching it very closely. So if it acts up, I might need to come back. We'll just see. We'll see if it's okay now. We have just glued this down flat. Am I still stuck? Yeah, that's what the word is, Tracy. It's buffering. Facebook seems to be having a little bit of problem. I seem to be okay now. Go out and come back in. See if that works. I can't tell you what Facebook's doing. I don't know. But we'll give it a try. Okay, so the next step is we're going to take our 3D, and what you're going to find on all of these is that this image is meant to go right on top, and it's going to match it perfectly. So I kind of like that idea, sometimes just putting it right on top of that. It is an exact copy. And usually I line up a few things so I can see that there's this little pink flower. So I'm going to line that up, and I can line up my purple flowers at the top. Now this is going to come down a little bit, and that's okay. I'm not worried about that. As long as it doesn't come off the bottom of the card, we are okay. Now you can do this flat if you want, or you can do it with foam tape. I'm going to do it with foam tape, and I am currently out of my other foam tape, so I'm just going to use this stuff. I'm hoping my order shows up tomorrow. I've been a little busy creating, and so I've been using that. Yes, I know, Anne-Marie, it is awful. I can't, I apologize. I can't do anything. I think if I go out and come back in, it's going to do the same thing. So, yes, this is the largest bear we're going to attach. And I attached it with foam tape, the largest one, right on top. So it doesn't have the base. And as I was mentioning, in case you lost the sound on that, it is not on the base. So let me bring this in. There is my base. It is not on the base. Now this little guy up here, I'm just going to add a little foam strip behind him so that that flower is secure. It is going to sit over top of the border. All right, and just watch that you don't go past the card. It's okay to go right to the bottom, but you don't want to go past it or it's not going to sit very nice. Now you have a couple of greetings that you can use. This one was on your 3D, and that's the one that I put right here. It's like a little postage stamp, and I put that one on with just a little bit of foam tape. So let me just cut a piece of my foam tape, and we'll put that one right there. Oops, I'm a little bit too big. And I'm going to put this one right in the corner, kind of like a little postage stamp. And if you want, you can leave this one for another card, or you can put that one inside. You do have enough to make another card, so you just might want to leave that one and not use it. But if you think that you'll want to have it inside, you can do that as well. Okay, so that is card number 1. Super easy. And that is just showing you a way that you can do it without the topper, without the base. So that gives us a base, some border, and some little greeting, and it gives you these pieces. So again, we can make a card very easily out of these. All right, is everybody okay? I know that Facebook's acting up a little bit, but maybe just let me know if you're still there. Bueller, hopefully you're okay. Okay, good. I see some hearts, so I think we're okay. Whew. All right, so card number 1, I'm going to set aside. And it looks like we still have a lot of people watching, so I think we're okay. Okay, the next one I'm going to make, I'm going to get rid of that, is going to be an easel card. Okay, so this is an easel card. A lot of you have made easel cards with me before. I just find that this kind of hunky-dory pattern does work really well with an easel card. So I'm going to do this one next. And for this, did you put the bear on top? Yes, I put the bear. Thank you, Gloria. I put the bear right on top of the image. I foam taped it right on top. Okay. Well, I think you can go back, Emery, and I think when you go back, it is okay. So for this one, I'm just going to leave everything right on here. And this is going to be a 5x5 card. Emery, I did all of them. My whole 3D pop is right on top. But that was part of your homework. So if you haven't done it, just put the largest one on now, and then you can go back and layer them up. I did a homework video. Well, not really a homework video, but I did a little video in Crafty Hour about this particular one. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We have, where did my score blade go? I think we've lost the score blade here. Okay, well, we will figure it out. Looks like the score blade for the store has disappeared. Okay, so this one is going to be a easel card. It is a 5x5 card. So as you can see here, here is the card. And we need to make one score line. So this is not a cut. This is a score. And we are going to score that at the 2.5 mark. That is halfway. Now, for some reason, my score has disappeared. So what I'm going to do is take my score line that's already on my card at 5. I'm going to line it up at 2.5, and I'm going to score at 2.5. And you only do this on one side. So I'm going to just cheat here. I'm just going to carefully, I'd like to know where it went. I think I'll do this. This will be better. I'm going to carefully make a mark in the chamber. Very weird. Okay, closies count. So now I have a 2.5 mark, and it's only on one side. So there's 2 score lines. There's the 1.5 at 5. And then there's the one at 2.5. So if I were to fold my card, give it a good score, one side has this score line, and that is going to go underneath. Give it a good crease. It goes underneath, and what that's going to do is create an easel card. All right. So once this is done, I'm just going to set this aside for a moment. And I'm going to go to my gold paper. And we're going to cut a few pieces of this. And you might remember this gold paper I asked you to bring was 5 by 10. Now I do want a little border on it. So our first cut is going to be just under 5. So I'm going to take my trimmer. This is 5. I'm going to take it to just under 5. 4 7/8. 4 7/8. That's the first cut. And I need it to be a square, so I'm going to rotate it and do that again, which means I'm just taking off 1/8 of an inch, because for the ease of it, I told you to do the cut at 5. So now we're going to do it 4 7/8 by 4 7/8. That is a square. That is going to glue inside our card, and it's going to give you a little border of white all the way around. I have a rough edge there. I'm just going to take off. Okay, so go ahead and glue that large one inside. And again, if you're struggling with Facebook, I apologize. I'm wondering if there was an update, and I have to check on that, see. You can always rewatch this later. So that first one is done. We have this piece left over from our gold that I asked you to do. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put it into our trimmer tall, and it should right now measure 5. Okay, because that's what I had told you to bring. We're going to trim it to 4 7/8. 4 7/8. Everybody do that. 4 7/8. Okay, and that was tall. So now we're going to move our paper, my apologies, our paper horizontal, and we're going to cut 2 pieces that are just under 2 1/2. It's 2 3/8, and I want 2 of them. So see here, right under 2 1/2, and 2 of them. So 1 strip, just under 2 1/2, 2 strips. This is left over, 2 of them. And these are going to fit onto our front flap. Now, if you need to make any adjustments, go ahead and make them. I can see mine needs a little bit of adjusting. It looks like my card's a tad crooked here. I don't know what I was doing. So I'm just going to quickly fix that. See if I can make it look better. And I'm just going to smidge this a little bit. Sometimes when you're doing those in-between measurements, they get a little bit tricky on us. Yes, you can always do it on replay. Never a sweat. Not at all. A lot of people prefer to do it on replay because then they can do it at their time. We have only set aside an hour out of our day for this. So I don't want anyone to feel stressed out if we're going a little bit quick. Okay. Make sure you don't block the easel because, of course, that part needs to move, right? We need to have that space in between to move. Okay. We are going to... Yes, Emery, I'm sorry. It could be that you might need to have a update. So I would go into your app store and check if Facebook requires an update. That often is the problem, and I haven't looked to see if there's one. Seems like they need one every other week. Okay, we're going to cut paper. And this is the paper that we're going to use. It is the bird paper that's going to match. So we're going to cut this piece so that we can use it. And I just want to make sure, I don't want to take that bird's head off because that would make us sad. So we're going to do it a little bit differently so we don't hurt the bird. Don't hurt the bird. That is the right measurement. Okay, so let's turn the birds upside down for first cut. Upside down. And we're going to take this greenish teal border to 4 3/4, and we're going to cut. Okay, so I have a piece like this. It's 4 3/4, and we're going to make it a square. So I'm going to cut another piece, 4 3/4. I'm going to glue this one inside my card. I don't need this, with the border on the bottom. Remember, when your card opens, it opens from the top, border on the bottom. Okay. Border. Okay, so that is my inside part done so far. Come back to that in a minute. Okay, and I'm trying to save this image because I don't want to waste it. So we're going to do a couple of different cuts now. So if you go back to this paper, I'm going to turn it so that I'm using the very top of the paper, way up here, very top. And I'm going to cut 2 1/4, 2 1/4. 2 1/4. Then I'm going to trim the length of it back to this original measurement up here, which is 4 3/4. So this piece here is 2 1/4 by 4 3/4. I'm going to repeat that. But now I'm going to turn my bird upside down. Again, I'm trying to save that so you guys can have a good image to work with. So now I'm turning it upside down. 2 1/4 first. 4 3/4 next. Okay, and what I have left is this. This is going to be a great card later, so I'm going to keep that. And I'm going to take these two pieces, and hopefully they fit inside my gold on the front, which they do. So we're going to glue it together. I'm just going to put glue on both of them at the same time. And we'll put this one here. It's perfect. And we're going to put this one down here. There we go. Okay, everybody okay? Is everybody still there? Bueller. I'm going to do the inside next. And the reason why I'm going to do the inside next is because my 3D topper is fairly heavy. So I just want it to, I want it to be the last thing I'm going to put on. And you may or may not have done yours yet, so that's okay. I'm going to remove the border. And again, just a reminder, we got to cut on the ends. Snip and snip. And this border, back to that magic measurement, 4 3/4. And I'm going to make it straight on the other side. My scissors, sometimes I don't do so straight. Save this piece. So this measurement is 4 3/4. And I'm going to attach it across that purple border. I'm going to put mine on with some foam strips. If you want to glue it flat, you can glue it flat, but I want it to be popped up. So I'm going to add some of my foam strip to it. And this is just a decorative piece. It's not really gonna serve a purpose. It's just gonna look pretty. So some foam strip and just put it right across, like so. Now, when you go to do the stopper, and that's what I call these. I call these the stopper because they hold the card straight up. I like to have double foam tape on them. I find that it fits the best. It stops it. You can choose any of these greetings, any of them. I did the big one right here. And I actually did the little one as well, but that's just an add-on. You don't have to. If you want to leave one specifically for this, you can. Any of them will work, right? You don't have to do a big one, not at all, as long as it's double foam tape. Okay, so I do know that I need double foam tape all the way across. I'm gonna add another piece of foam tape on there. And that will just give it the height necessary so that it actually stops it. So double foam tape, two times high. And I'm gonna put it right above the flowers, kind of even side to side. I'm gonna add a little bit on that end there. So it's right above the flowers. Where you put it will all determine on how straight your card stands. Let me see if I can squeeze a little bit. There we go. So if you put it like that, you can see that you're going to have a higher triangle there. I could also put it down further. I'll have a little bit more of a lazy one. I'm not going to give you an algebra lesson or a geometry lesson, but just depending where that goes will depend on how you do it. And if you want another one inside, well, of course you can, but you don't have to. I'll just do a little one here so it's the same. Totally up to you. Okay. Now there is also, and this is optional, there's these little corners, and I'm going to peel them all out. When you take them out, keep them in order because they have hearts on them. And if you mess them up, you can get your hearts going upside down. So over here, I'm putting them in the same order, just like that. I'm not going to use any more of this. And a little dab of glue, and you'll see that I didn't put them right in the corner. I kind of came down a little bit on all four corners, so they're not right in the corner. And again, if you have your glue with a little bit of little nib on it, it will be the easiest because we don't need a lot of glue on here. So just watch those hearts on there. Glue them on, little dab will do. You want them to all be fairly even. I do not take out my ruler and measure. Closies count. Okay. And then the last one. And we'll put that there. Now, if you want, there's two ways you can attach this. This circle is going to go right in the middle, like that. But because it's an easel card, it can only attach on the bottom half. So you're only going to put glue on the bottom. Now this is heavy, so if you're going to use liquid glue, put it there and don't stand it up. Let it just dry in place. If you stand it up, it's going to start to slide. Your other option is you can do some of your double-sided tape, and that will be a quicker option for drying time. But again, make sure that when you flip it over, you have it going the right way, right? Kind of find that halfway mark like I did, and then go ahead and put glue just on the bottom half. I'll use my double-sided tape because it'll be quicker. This one I did use glue, but I just let it sit there for a little bit so that it didn't slide. I have had them slide. I'm like, what the heck? That is not even. Okay, so I've put a few rows of tape on there just because these are the little double-sided tapes I keep here at the video area from the Spellbinders boxes that we all get. Okay, so now go ahead and put that on. Make sure your birds are straight. Good gracious. And then I always, oh, see, look, I've already moved my little corner. I always flip over, make sure I don't see any adhesive peeking out. And there we go. We have our easel card. Super cute. Okay, that's a good one for a birthday card, thinking of you card, thank you card, anything like that. And you can, I usually write up here, but you also have all of this to write in. So if you're giving it to somebody, my corners aren't quite dry there. If you're giving it to somebody, they are going to open it. So if you write on here, they will see it. But then when you put it onto the mantle or the table, you're not seeing any of that writing there. All right, are we good with that card? Let me know. 2 cards. We're going to make 1 more card. And I think we're going to be okay for time. Thank you, guys. Oh, I'm so glad. I apologize, like I say, for Facebook. Do make sure when the video's done, everybody, first thing I'm going to do, please make sure to go back and check your app store and see if Facebook has a update, because it might have an update. We might all have to go do it. Okay, this little guy I couldn't resist. This is our little puppy one, and have a look inside. We are going to cut the card on a diagonal, and it's just a really fun card. It sits perfect. Thank you, ladies. So this is going to be the one I'm going to do. And for this card, I told you once again, I wanted us to have the 5x10 gold and a 5x5 card. Okay, so make sure you have both of those. Now, let's fold that card if you have not already done so. Fold the card. Yeah, I think there's an update. It happens. And the first thing we're going to do, awesome, thank you, Leslie Ann, is we're going to cut on a diagonal. So what I want you to see is open your card up. And I'm going to leave that one there for a moment. If you want to make sure that you remember, you're going to go from top left to bottom right, cutting it on a diagonal. Now, I like to cut it on here. You totally can. I'll show you what I do. But of course, you can cut it on here too if you want. So I'm going to put it into my trimmer with the score line going top to bottom. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of put it on an angle so that, let me show you here. I think that's good. So that the top part of the score line is at the top. So you can see I'm right on the edge of the blade. And then on the bottom, let's see if I can do this without cutting myself. One sec here. The bottom, that point needs to be right on the edge of the blade. Now, if you don't, let me move it, sorry. If you don't get it right on that diagonal, you could have a little problem with the next step. Okay, so make sure, just take your time. You can do the same thing here. I'm going to leave this card here so you can see top left, and we're only cutting the front of the card. back of the card is not getting cut. Open your card up, top left, bottom right. Now, when I taught this in classes, sometimes people like to take a ruler. Maybe take your little score line, whichever you are comfortable with. That is what we should have. This piece here, I don't need. Okay, so go ahead and cut the front on a diagonal, taking it right to the top and then right down to the very, very tippy corner. And when you fold your card, you're going to have that like that. Okay, so let's do that. Now I have that front panel that is the same. Okay, and I'm just going to set this aside. Just going to put it away for now. Okay. I don't need this. You can keep it if you want. It's totally up to you. Now I think we're going to cut this tall first. We're going to cut that tall first. It's just going to make it a little bit easier for the next step. So I want to take it to 4 7/8. I told you 5. I think I told you 5 by 10. Mine is 5 by 12 because I was just lazy. We're going to take it to 4 7/8 and cut off 1/8 of an inch all the way down. I'm going to do that now so I have it. Okay, so all the way down, that gold now measures 4 7/8. I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to cut 2 squares. Both squares are going to be 4 7/8. Two squares. 4 7/8 and 4 7/8. These 2 squares are identical. Okay. Take one of them, doesn't matter which, and glue it inside your card. Take one, glue it inside your card. They're the same, so it doesn't matter which one you take. Just so I don't accidentally cut this one, I'm going to put it into my card. Okay. The remaining square needs to be cut on a diagonal because it's going to go on the front. So we're going to take tippy tip point at the top to the tippy tip point at the bottom. Make sure your top and bottom are lined up. Very important. Okay. You're going to get 2 diagonals. Tippy tippy, right to the top, right to the bottom. We've taken one of those squares and cut it in half on a diagonal. And I only need one piece. Now it's going to go right like that. Now, if you find, and this happens often, I need a little bit more now off so that I can see maybe a tad bit more of the gold, of the white. And I find it easier to take a little bit off my straight edges than try and do that diagonal. Okay, so I'm going to take it to the top and take a little bit off, and I'm going to take the other side. And yours might be perfect. I just find that sometimes I need a little bit more off. Now you can cut on a diagonal. I just find it then easier to take it off the straight edges. Okay, go ahead and glue that one on. Whichever way works, your choice. I do want a little bit of white on those 3 sides of the triangle. Okay, and I'm just going to give you a minute to get those in. And then I'm going to cut pattern paper. Now I'm still a little bit off, but that's okay. And we're not going to see a whole heck of a lot because we're going to put our 3D topper on there. So we're going to need that in a minute. And this is the paper I want you to find. It's the matching paper. It's got the little puppy dog on it down here in the corner. Cute little guy. And we're going to cut a couple of pieces of this paper to make it work. Okay, so go ahead and find this one. And let me tell you the first one we're going to cut, because I want to make sure that we have the proper piece, because this gets a little bit tricky. I'm going to cut this first little square right here, because this is the piece that's going to go right there, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take mine to 4 3/4. That is our measurement, 4 3/4. And I'm going to, no, you know what? I might do it the other way first. That might give me a little bit more room to play with. Let me just check. I don't want to ruin that though. I'm trying to be careful so that you guys have some extra to spare, because it's just going to fit with that. So I'm trying to be very cautious. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be very sneaky. I'm going to do, no, it's not going to matter. I'm going to go down at 4 3/4. And then I'm going to do 4 3/4. That's, oh, good enough. We'll figure it out. Now, because this is the one, it's 4 3/4 by 4 3/4, because this is the one that's going to go on a diagonal, I have to cut it again. So I'm going to go point to point once again, point to point, to get that floral front right here. Okay? This piece we're not going to use, and we're going to go ahead and cut that now right on top. Cut it, glue it. Cut it, glue it. Okay. And a little tip, let me just show you my little tip here. Love this paper. If you want to take this piece and glue it inside, you absolutely can. That's the flip side of this piece, right? So if you want to glue it inside, and if you want it to be gold, you can, of course, take that piece and decorate the inside, because really those are just kind of like throwaway pieces. So I didn't do it on this one, but you absolutely can. I'm going to leave that for you to do if you want later for your homework. Now, this is where it gets tricky, because you can see that we're going to need to cut a piece that's just going to fit inside here. Now, you can put the little puppy dog inside if you want, so that when you open it up, you see another little puppy in there. But this one gets a little bit tricky because we don't have a lot of paper left that is plain. We just have a little piece. And if you take your ruler, you can see that we're going to get some of that flower in there. I think, just because I want to change this up, I think I might do the puppy in there this time. Let me see what that would look like. I could. Or maybe we'll just cover that up with our border. Let's just do that. I'm just trying to make it so you don't ruin it if you want to keep it, but I think we're going to have to. So I'm going to take it to 4 3/4 at the top again, like so. So I have a little bit of the puppy left. 4 3/4 this way. I do have a little bit of a flower showing here, and I'm going to turn it so that little bit of the flower shows inside. Okay, it's a pretty little piece, so that's okay. And I'm going to glue that in. I could have it at the bottom, but it seems a little bit better inside. So I'm going to glue that. And again, you can use the puppy inside if you want. Okay. So that was just off the top. And that way, when the card's closed, you're just going to see that pattern all the way around. And then I'm going to take this border. Just snip it again. Snip. And snip. And again, that same measurement, 4 3/4. 4 3/4. Now with this border, we can put this right here, right on the bottom. I like to snip it down as far down as you can. You'll see a little bit there if you want. You could also put it against the top, but I'm going to put it right as close to the bottom as I can, just so I have a little bit of that floral showing just on the bottom, a little bit of that border. And I'll show you what it'll look like. It's going to come up really tiny. Where did my corners go? So again, if I want to put these in here now, you can see how pretty that's going to be if you decorate your inside. Super pretty. Now with this guy, when we go to attach it, we are only going to put it on a diagonal with adhesive. So be very careful that you're only putting it on the bottom left. It gets a little tricky when you flip it over. So I'm going to be very careful and make sure. I'm going to do this right away. Kind of got to remember where you're going with it. I have done it where it's been totally on the opposite side. And I'm like, that was silly. Okay, and I think I can get a little bit more. One more big one. And you can do this with liquid adhesive, as I mentioned. I just find that because these are heavy, I don't have to worry about it taking a moment to dry. It'll be okay right away. Okay. And he's just going to go right in the center. Yep, closies count. Okay. So again, making sure no adhesive is on there. Now you do have a few greetings to choose from, which you can do on the front or inside. Your choice. There is get well wishes, congrats on your retirement, and relax and unwind and have a perfect day. Now on this one, I chose to use get well wishes, and I did it on the front. I could put it on the inside if I wanted to, but I put it on the front. I'm going to do the congrats on this one. And I am going to put it so that it straddles the arm of the chair. It's going to go right like that. So I know I'm going to need double foam tape on either end. Double foam tape on either end. That way it'll sit just perfect. So I'm going to do double and put it... I made them a bit too big. I'm going to have to trim it just a bit, but I can do that. Snip and snip and snip. Okay, and I'm just going to put it right there. And that card is done. Just got to decorate the inside if you choose to. And of course, we can also put a greeting inside. All right, so I'm going to bring in the 3 cards that we managed to do, even with Facebook not being so happy with us. Let me know if you are still here. I am going to show you a sneaky peeky of something. I think Courtney has it. So if she's on, maybe you can let me know. Now, these are called 3D cards. That's what we call them. In the UK, they are called decoupage cards. And I always do a Christmas one in December. They are classic Christmas fun images. I always do it I'm just going to do this while I'm talking to you. I always do it for Christmas. It always sells out. So please watch for that class if you do want to do it. It will be a full class. We make all 12 cards, and of course they are not done as a crafty hour, so they're a little bit, we do a little bit more to them, and we take our time. So that will be coming soon, probably October. It's always the last one that we do for the year. Okay, so that is done. So, I don't know if Courtney's there. Let me know, Courtney, if you're there, because now I can't remember if you said you had it or I think you were taking orders on the next thing, or it was coming. I think it was in transit. So I have another something to show you. Oh, I'm so glad, you guys. I'm so glad that you like these. Okay, so we got something yesterday. Okay, Courtney, did you say you did have this next item or it was in transit? Now I can't remember. This is a brand new item, and I did not show it yesterday on purpose. Okay, they're on their way. I did not show this yesterday on purpose. So you guys that are watching right now get first crack at it. I'm going to show it on Friday in my Together at 2, and Courtney has them coming. So if you want it, please reach out to Courtney. If you are a Clipper Street customer, please call us because nobody knows about this. They're going to go, what is she talking about? Because the staff haven't even seen this yet. Okay, so this is called Amongst the Flowers. Now wait till you see this because this is a different kit. Now I don't know, Courtney, what price hers is, but Canadian, it is $44.99 and then 10% off. So we're going to do it at $39.99. I think will work out. But you got to call us because again, it is, nobody's watching the video to help me out. But what this is, wait till you see this. Wait till you see this. Okay, there is 32 toppers in here that are just 3D toppers, okay? And it will make 64 of these toppers. So for instance, here we have these 4, and it makes this one with a greeting, and it makes this one with the greeting. So 2 on a sheet. You get 4 sheets. They've never done this before. And you're just going to add some of your scrap pattern papers that you guys all have lying around. So that's going to make 2, 4, 6, 8 right there. 8 toppers. Then we have this one, which we have this topper up here, which is like a little teapot. And then we have this topper here. You get 4 of those. This one I'm in love with. Look at those butterfly or those bicycles. So you get 1 there, 1 there, 3 of these. Okay, so now you see how this is working, right? Great greetings on everyone. Everyone has a greeting. Look at the adorable birdhouse and then the bunnies. So you're getting 32 die cut toppers, and then all you do is add paper. And I know you guys all have loads of paper. Look at that fabulous drink. Okay, each sheet will do double. This one, look at those puppy dogs, and then down here we have kitty cats. Okay, 4 of each. This beautiful fairy house, and then we have this adorable fairy. Okay, and that is the last one. So there is 8 different themes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You get 2 on each, and you get 4 of each one. So they are beautiful. We have them in stock. Courtney has them coming. There's a few samples on here, but it's going to make 64 of the toppers. 64. And then you just add in your papers. They only come like this as a full set. And I have limited quantities in store. I think Clipper Street, I think we only have 24 of them. So if you want them, call us. I'll go tell them where they are because the girls haven't seen these. And if you want them from Courtney, hers are on her way. So contact her ASAP so she makes sure to put them aside for you. I will go give the girls these. They are going to be on the video if we have any left on Friday. We may not have any left. So you guys are getting first crack at these. Okay, so that's available now for either pre-order or come get them. I am not, Josie, I am by myself. Nobody is watching the video, so I just don't want to take the chance that they'll be gone before I remember to pull them. And a real quick question, one more real quick thing, not question, but something to tell you, is don't forget, in 3 hours, Courtney is going to do a Facebook takeover. Please go update your Facebook app. Go to the App Store, click the update so that we don't have any problems. She's going to tell you all about the new Crafters Essential Layering Tool. So that is in 3 hours. Thanks so much. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., new Crafty Hour. Set your alarms now. I will post an event. We have limited stock of the next one. And it's something really different. All right. So thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.